weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.
Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man number 57. It's written by Zeb Wells. Pencils by John Romita Jr. Inks by Scott Hanna. Colors by Marcelo Menez. Letters by VC's Joe Caramagna. If you have been listening to our show, you know that me and Matt are John Romita Jr. fans. You know, we realize that he's lost a step, but we're still big fans of him. And when he gets some time, sometimes he comes up with something good. I think that the art in this is decent enough. There is a part, though, when we get to it, that's a little bit sketchy. I don't really know what happens, and I don't know that it's really full of John Romita Jr.'s fault, because Zeb Wells sets it up in a weird way as well. But obviously, this is Tombstone stuff. Last issue, you end up where Tombstone gets arrested. They're going to take him to trial, all that, and the big star witness is Janice, his daughter, and who we didn't know what had happened. I guess it never really spells out what Tombstone thought happened, because he crushed her head in during gang war.
He definitely
hadn't
did.
seen her since. I think that he thought she skedaddled. They never really mentioned the idea of him leaving her for dead or anything, but she's there as the star witness, and that's pretty much the big reveal.
Was he definitely arrested
issue.
last issue?
Well, he was brought in, and he was at least being arraigned, because they had him in the court, and they had him now the star witness.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
So at least being arraigned and setting bail and stuff like that. But again, in my mind, Zeb Wells, not quite a lawyer, as far as I can tell. He thinks he's a funny guy, not a lawyer. And the idea where you have Tombstone, and really, they're not really telling you tons of what he's in for, but the idea of having Tombstone and giving him any sort of bail, to me, is ridiculous. But
oh, my God. Yeah.
it would be one of those. First off, he's an extreme flight risk.
And he will murder people while he's out on bail.
And he will murder people. And again, maybe what it is, here's the play. Hey, we don't have a lot of evidence against Tombstone, so if he gets out, he'll just add some to it. We'll be able to re-arrest him for things. Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. And I'll tell you, as we go through this, it's very quick. It's kind of inoffensive, but mainly, I don't know, my overall vibe of this is it does not feel big. It doesn't feel like it's really happening. And to me, I can't describe, but it doesn't have a lot of weight to it, because we had that big thing at the beginning of the run where it was the Tombstone stuff that everybody, including me and you, said that's kind of the best part of Zebul's run. But then we got away from that, and then him involved in the gang war, the wedding, all that nonsense swirling around, it just kind of lessened everything. And then when we get to this, it does feel tacked on, which it kind of is. Zeb Wells is supposed to be off the book, and it feels, you know what I mean? It just feels like it's there to be there.
The stuff at the beginning was pretty good, and then they kind of weave too much Tombstone in. Like, it's just, he's not that big of a character to be in like 20 issues or whatever this is. And
legitimately, here's how I'll spell it out, and people can disagree, which they always do. If Tombstone is not, found guilty, okay. If Tombstone is found guilty and they say he's going to be in for life, okay. There's not one of those. It doesn't feel like there's anything to, oh my God, can you believe Tombstone might be in jail? It's not there. Plus, this issue proves that it doesn't matter anyway. It won't matter. If Tombstone goes to jail for 8 life sentences, he's just going to get out. He's a bad guy, is what he does. But you end up with this whole thing where he wanted to kill Spider-Man, and he did try to kill Peter. Last issue, he doesn't know Peter's Spider-Man, but you have this. I think that by the end of this, he's going to say, like, hey, that Peter Parker was pretty nimble in that, limo. I think he might be connected. But this all is pretty much, Spider-Man saying, no, I got you arrested.
I know. He's just taunting him.
Yeah, and so you end up, and he's like, listen, I love the idea. This is where I can't stand Zeb Wells' writing. Like, he's so, it's like so forced. Like, in this, Spider-Man goes to really spell out, oh, listen, I talked to Jen, and she says there's no way you're going to. Why would he say that to him? Why would you even bother? I know he's trying to taunt him, but you end up having Tombstone, I'll be out by lunch. And he's, no. I talked to Jen. Like Tombstone's like, who? And he gets out. I mean, everything, and that's the other thing.
Why is he even talking to him?
That's what I'm saying. I think he wanted to taunt him, but it's not real great taunts, and it's only, all this is Zeb Wells forcing the idea where he wants Peter, Spider-Man, to be surprised at the moment that Tombstone is told, okay, you're free. You're free to go. That's the only reason. He has to be there to see that. In the meantime, like I said, the idea of it just happening, he just ended up in that, pre-trial, that whole whatever arraignment. And then we get a couple and then he's out. And it just, nothing feels like it. Again, it doesn't have much weight. And that's where you end up where, Spider-Man now should be arrested for destroying public property.
Government property.
Yeah, really. You can't do that, Spidey. No. And he goes
right
out.
In jail.
He takes the costume off and goes out to find Michelle.
Is that the girl he was on a date with?
No, this is the thing but this is where I know that this book is nonsense, because nobody knows the difference between Michelle and the lady who actually was from Ravencroft that he was dating the last.
So he's dating two different women, basically.
No, this lady kind of told him, screw it. This is the girl who, when you ended up having, I guess, I don't know if they revealed, but it was Ben Reilly, I guess, Frank calling her and setting up that date. Peter said, I don't remember that date. And she even mentions it here. Oh, you want to start, doing your prank calls with the dates. This is the, to not mince words, the bitchy lawyer of Lincoln, of Tombstone. So she comes in, but the other one's the nice lady. I don't know that they're even different looking because I never remember them. They're so generic, these things. So he's like, how dare you? You put my friends in danger. And she says, listen, jerk, I'm a lawyer. That's what I'm paid for. Yeah, I do the job. And the way that she's played out, she does not have a conscience that's going to be like, oh, man, I'm on the wrong side of things. She wants to get paid. And I believe Tombstone probably pays her pretty well. And then she says, talk to the hand, and then walks away. I thought she was going to say, at least you get the privilege of watching me walk away. I thought she'd do that with her butt cheeks. And he's pissed. Look at that look. He's pissed. So he's mad. The idea Tombstone's out on the streets again, so obviously he's going to want to try to take care of Janice, because Janice is the star witness. I still don't know what she's witnessing or what she's going to tell, but she has the inner workings of it. I do believe by the end of this, he might have White Rabbit as well, because she's been kind of jerked around. But Janice is packing, and Randy says, hey, you don't have to leave. You're fine. She's like, I'm packing for you, jerk. Like, he sees the clothes. Like, she's like, I'm packing for you. You're in trouble. And he's, well, why am I in trouble? Well, my dad's not going to come after me. It's my dad. He's going to go after somebody I love, kidnap you, and make me not, testify. It's the standard mobster play. And he's like, what? And then they just kind of talk, and Spider-Man owes me a favor. So then you go, and again, this issue is a lot of just people standing around with their arms crossed talking. Because then you go off to the Gracie Mansion where Mayor Cage and Jen, She-Hulk, are there. And Spider-Man, they're like, we got to get him out of town. We got to get him out because Tombstone's out. He's going to get him. And Luke says, well, we could, but it's very porous. The blue line's porous, I think the line he says. They're going to find out. We can't really do anything because word will get back to Tombstone. Okay, get this, Luke. How about this? You guys are superheroes. You have a lot of friends. Get the Avengers here. Get in the Quinjet and get the hell out. There's no reason that you have to get them in the paddy wagon and go. I know you're the mayor. You are a superhero. You have a lot of people involved in a lot of ways that you can get out. But again, he says, we can't do this, but yet does it. And he plays this like twist where what's going to happen here is that instead of Janice and Randy going out, they're going to dupe them. They're going to load the paddy wagon, and it's going to be She-Hulk in there. Yeah. And in the meantime, Randy and Janice are still going to be in New York City. But you already said you can't trust anybody. So it got out. I mean, it's not, I don't think by the end we're supposed to think really that Tombstone is that smart, that he figured it out. He had to have been told. He's got guys on the force. Yeah, and Luke says that's the case. He says it out loud that will be there and they will find out, and then they do it. So
they should have done the opposite then, actually had her in there.
Yeah, they actually should have, because then what happens is White Rabbit is sent to go get this decoy, because supposedly, I just think he got lucky. But they end up saying, okay, we'll do something. We'll figure out something. And they even say like, hey, we're going to be ready for anything. And then Spidey says to Luke, well, how do you prepare for anything? We send everything. Everything is a paddy wagon with Spider-Man urban surfing on the top with Jen in the back. It's not everything. And in the meantime, I hope they have somebody. They don't seem to have anybody watching Janice and Randy by the end. Luke could do that. That Tombstone is not going to beat up Luke Cage. Like, that is enough.
No shot.
You can't shoot him. So it would be great, but they don't do that. And in the meantime, Tombstone calls White Rabbit, and there's Kareem over there, our man Kareem. How do I know Kareem more than who Spidey's dating?
It took about 50 issues to learn Kareem.
It did, but we finally learned him.
Sunk in.
The funny thing is, that's a sort of character that usually I'll gravitate to of being a cool guy, but he hasn't done enough. Like, it's not enough. And he looks like when John Travolta has the shaved head and the goatee, that's what he looks like. And Digger's there and stuff, and Tombstone says, you get Digger, you go, I have this thing for you to do, I figured all this out, but he's sending White Rabbit to go get Janice. And she says, we're best friends. And it feels like he's testing her, as he always is, but it's not quite that anyway. But like I said, I think this is going to piss White Rabbit off. But they end up going, and again, everything is a bunch of police cars, which you already said the police are kind of on the take. You don't know who, and a big, giant, armored car with Spidey thinking he's Teen Wolf and Urban Surfing on the top. That's
I like how it looks him flying on riding on there.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah.
But it's kind of ridiculous.
Oh, it's totally ridiculous.
In that you should also have hey, there's the Fantastic Four. This is a big thing, and you could call in some favors. And again, Spider-Man is loved by everyone. I think some people would be like, okay, Iron Man would show up, he'd do his thing, whatever. But you end up where you see Janice and Randy are actually not doing anything. It's just ridiculous.
They look like they're inside it, but you don't know where they are.
Yeah, and that's where White Rabbit is watching it. I'm guessing it's Home Alone stuff where those are cardboard cutouts going around on a train. And they're just looking at each other. So you have all that, and White Rabbit's like, I don't like this. And you kind of know that if it comes down to it, she's not going to do, the big thing. She's not going to try to kill Janice or anything. But in the meantime,
this plan is ridiculous.
This plan that I kind of get what's going on, but the way that it's played out and the way that it works, it's so ridiculous. But not in the way
1 in a million shot to actually happen.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous in the way of being ridiculous. I'm not saying that it's there's some things in comics that are oh man, that's so cool, it's so ridiculous. They get Digger down in the subway, and he's ripped up the subway rails.
They created a ramp of sorts,
holding them to make a ramp. And he's like, can I put him down? No, keep holding him. Can I put him down? Spell something out here. And what happens, it seems, because the art is a little wacky, is they want to run the subway car up through the street to cause the cars.
You know what Manhattan is like? It's all bedrock and stuff. There's no way you'd be able to shoot that through there.
Also, the thing would veer off. I mean, I don't want to get into the physics of it, but the idea of this
physics don't work.
No, it doesn't. I'm not good at physics either. So you end up,
Jason, he'll know.
Yeah. So you end up where, are you going to say exhaustive deep dive? No. You end up where what it's doing is it's just causing a roadblock. Again, you could do this probably with 5 cars just driving there. I know there's a big police, the squad going and they're escorting it, but you still only need to block the road is what this is doing. It's just, I think
shoot the tires out or something.
I think Zeb Wells is trying desperately to make this seem cool, but it's not. It's confusing, and it's kind of, you said, ridiculous, but it does stop the cars.
It stops a lot. The Manhattan screwed for months till they fix this. All these people are dead.
People are pissed. Also, usually what you'll do in this sort of thing, you'll end up where you figure out a way that when the armored car is there, that the police end up on one side and somehow the armored car ends up alone because there's these police officers. They're going to open fire. They're there. I see there's a couple cars next to the armored car. They're going to get out. And when White Rabbit comes, she's dead. Usually what you'll do is kind of have a guy and he'll be blocking traffic and you'll, oh my God, it's Digger. You'll have him push people that way or what, but they don't do that. They just send a subway car up through
just
the
to
street.
Stop the armored truck. That's all they're doing.
Just to stop the truck. You could put a car. It's so ridiculous.
But those things that pop the tires when you drive over them. Anything.
Yeah, it's just supposed to be this big thing, and that's where you end up getting White Rabbit comes with her crew. Digger kind of comes up and yells, "I think I did it." I'm like, I don't know what you did, but I guess you did. He fights Spidey, and you end up where the female Ock ends up opening up. I love that too. It makes it seem like she's doing something besides just opening doors. Because that's all she's doing. And she opens them up, and lo and behold, it's not Janice. it's She-Hulk. The funniest thing about this is it does appear that Randy was there because Randy was looking at She-Hulk at one point, but you didn't know it was her. We already said that we thought that Randy was the one who was in the biggest trouble, but he's there to make Janice by herself. And then they end up where this crazy idea of, oh no, they knew. And it's White Rabbit who says, wait a minute, it's not Janice, it's She-Hulk. I think Tombstone knew this. That's why he sent me here, which means that he knows where she is. And I'm like, where are you getting this? But it's real. It's true,
jumping to conclusions.
Yeah, she's jumping to conclusions. And they're right, but they're right in the weirdest way of like, oh my God, no. And the best is it's not just, oh man, we were duped. I better call Tim. It's right away. She's like, I know what's happening. He's there with Janice. Oh no. And starts yelling to She-Hulk, and they're yelling, Spider-Man, we got to go. Tombstone knows he's got Janice. And then that's where you see him walk in through the door where Janice is getting her Beetle costume. She was going to put it on, and it looks like she was going to leave a letter for Randy as well, but he ain't there. So it's odd. I mean, it's a very quick issue, but it's an odd one that, again, it doesn't make me get invested in this whole Tombstone in jail thing. What is he going to do with his daughter? We already saw that he caved her head in. I think that he gives her a deal and says, hey, come back to the dark side. She probably will. And then that's that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Do you think that White Rabbit is a Harley Quinn knockoff, or Harley Quinn is a knockoff of White Rabbit
as well? But it's more like a Harley Quinn type deal. It's like a combo. I don't mind her. But again, she has just been in this, but her and Kareem kind of hang until they're needed.
I wouldn't mind seeing. She's been pretty good for the most part. Like, she's not really a villain in this at all.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you right now, I wouldn't mind Spidey dating her and just go there. You know, Mary Jane, you go with
it's like
Paul,
an Electra.
Get out of here. It is. It was. It would also be very similar
Mary
to
or something
like when he was dating Felicia. Black Cat,
kind of thing.
She's kind of cool, and I do like her. She's got a cool outfit. Looks like she's at like the Kit Kat Club doing a little dancing or something. I don't know.
It's a Playboy Club.
Yeah, well, that's what it is. She's a Playboy after dark. But yeah, I wish at this point Spidey's like, hey, what are you doing later? That White Rabbit? That'd be pretty cool. And then that's when Mary Jane ditches Paul finally and screws everything up. But what would you give this?
Yeah,
it's just weird.
I like the art. I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Some of the action scenes. I don't know what was going on with that train thing and who was responsible for that. So I'll dock some points for that. I'd probably just give this a 6.5.
I'm giving it a 6. I'm a little lower than you, just a 6. It's not the worst issue we've read of Amazing Spider-Man, mainly because it's in and out.
It's quick.
I mean, I can't say that anything that Zeb Wells did felt like it was real inspired, but this feels less. This feels like what it is. We have to tie up something that I wasn't going to tie up. I'll do it this way. Let's go. It'll end with Tombstone out and about, or even if he is in jail, I'll be like, I'll get out soon. It won't really matter much in my mind.
You are all weirdos.
Weird science is the revolution. Weird science is the revolution.